All right, we are back up and running, live streaming again, members and submitters. Our next submission is from Te Pito Limited on behalf of the Mānuka Trust. I had Kristen Koheri, but Lynelle, that's you, is it, today?
Yes, that's me. Kia ora.
All right, well, look, we have 10 minutes set aside for your submission today. We've received your written submission in advance, and we'll appreciate the opportunity for some questions at the end of your time. Thank you.
Tēnā koutou, i te komiti o Parimata, ko ai tētahi o ngā tumuaki o Te Pito Limited, he teina o te Mānuka Charitable Trust. Ko te māngau au mō te Mānuka Charitable Trust me Te Pito Limited mō tēnei kaupapa, he roia ahau, e mahi ana i roto i te ao mana whakairo hinengaro ara ko ngā intellectual property rights. He uri au no te Aotearoa ko Lynelle Tuffery Huria tōku ingoa. Morena koutou, my name is Lynelle Tuffery Huria. I am a director of Te Pito Limited, which is a subsidiary of the Mānuka Charitable Trust. I'm speaking on behalf of both organisations today on this kaupapa. In my day job, I'm a partner at Kāhui Legal. I'm a lawyer working in intellectual property rights. As you can see from our submissions, the Mānuka Charitable Trust and Te Pito Limited object to the bill in its current form for a number of reasons. We consider this bill as unjust, unfair, inconsistent with Te Tiriti o Waitangi, its words and its principles. We also consider that this is a missed opportunity for Aotearoa New Zealand to extend the GI framework as recommended in the Y262 report to help address the issues raised in that claim, a missed opportunity to introduce a framework that would assist in the protection and recognition of taonga such as Mānuka, a missed opportunity to assist with the controlling the misuse and misappropriation of our cultural heritage, including taonga such as Mānuka, and also a really missed opportunity to future-proof future regional businesses, including regional businesses developed by whānau, hapu and iwi. Throughout the duration of the negotiations with the EU on the New Zealand EU Free Trade Agreement, the government, via its officials at MFAT and MB, indicated that we would be required to extend our GI framework to other goods. What we are concerned about is that this is a significant shift from those representations that were made throughout those negotiations, that we would be extending the framework to something quite different. And as a consequence, to fast track this legislation with limited consultation, with limited time for submissions, is really unjust and unfair. It's also inconsistent with Te Tiriti because there has been insufficient consultation with a Te Tiriti partner. We also think that this government is not considering what is possible for Aotearoa New Zealand. The Mānuka honey industry got a significant jolt back in the 80s after research on the honey identified its antibacterial properties. Since then, the industry has grown into a $525 million industry for Aotearoa New Zealand. Mānuka honey derives 84% of all the honey industry revenue and constitutes 91% of all honey export revenue. This is just one of the unique indigenous species, one of our unique taonga found in Aotearoa New Zealand. We are just starting to scratch the surface in terms of what else is out there. There is research being undertaken on many of our other taonga. If we do not institute some form of protection for those taonga through a new extended GI framework, then we are putting at risk those new industries. We are concerned that we are, why are we protecting industries thousands of miles away and not considering what is possible for our Mānuka honey industry, but also what is possible for Aotearoa New Zealand beyond the Mānuka industry. I just now also want to sort of refer to one of the issues, one of the international obligations that arise from this new proposed bill. With the introduction of this bill, we know that under the New Zealand-UK Free Trade Agreement, that requires us to open up the GI framework to UK geographical indications. As a consequence, we will then be granting better rights to UK citizens, something which is in direct conflict with Article 3 of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. We also touched on in our submissions around the potential that this is in direct conflict with our WTO obligations, and in particular the obligations around the most favoured nation, introducing specific protection that grants better rights to EU citizens and consequently UK citizens at the expense of other citizens around the world. In closing, I do wish to make it clear that while we do consider extending the GI framework is important, it's important for industries such as the Mānuka honey industry in particular. We do not consider that this is a panacea to all of the solutions, to all of the issues that were raised in the Y262 claim, to all of the issues around the misuse and misappropriation of our taonga species, including Mānuka. But we do consider that this is one of the suite of solutions that will help to address that ongoing misuse and misappropriation, and in particular, the claims by our cousins across the ditch that Mānuka is also an Australian kupu, an Australian word. This is a big concern to the Mānuka Charitable Trust and Te Pito Limited and the Mānuka honey industry. And we really want to see some specific protection, at least in this, if not in this framework, but at least in another piece of legislation that gives specific protection to our taonga Mānuka honey. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa.
Excellent. All right, thank you for your submission today. First question from the Honourable Pene Henare.
Tēnā koe te tuahine, kia ora. Thank you very much for your submission. If you don't mind elaborating just a little bit more, because on one hand, we've heard from other submitters who can't wait for the legislation to be passed. They're Māori primary producers. They're looking forward to more market exposure elsewhere and trying to capitalise there. So what you're saying is not choosing to support the bill, is it simply just the GI indicator that's the biggest hurdle to your support of the bill, or is there something bigger here with respect to the way that Mānuka in particular might be exported offshore?
Our focus is purely on the GI and the geographical indications framework as proposed in the bill. We are really concerned about the extension of this framework to just to other goods for just EU geographical indications, and so that's where our submissions are aimed at. We would like to see the New Zealand, at least the New Zealand geographical indication definition also extended to include other goods. If that's not possible, then we would also like to see some specific protection in the bill for Mānuka honey.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Any further questions for our submitter today? Wonderful. All right, appreciate your time this morning, Lynelle, and thanks again for your flexibility and rescheduling too.
Kia ora, ngā mihi nui kia koutou.
Thank you.